from Capital Region Language Center. I have 3 objectives for this video. 1 is to make a Spanish tortilla or una tortilla española. 2 is to look at some of the students that have come to Capital Region Language Center over the years and their careers, their jobs they were doing, and why they needed another language to enhance that position. And number 3, we'll take a look at current jobs that are available in the Capital Region for which bilingualism would be a huge bonus. Starting with the Spanish tortilla or una tortilla española, we have potatoes, las patatas, sometimes called las papas. We have an onion, la cebolla. We've got some eggs, and these are not dyed green. They're from my hens, which they lay green eggs. So los huevos, and then olive oil, el aceite de oliva. And we'll add a little salt and pepper in there for seasoning. The first thing to do is to either chop the potatoes very thinly or grate the potatoes on a mandolin type thing like this. Choose one or the other. In this case, I'll have to cook my sliced potatoes a little bit longer because they're about 3 times thicker. So the first thing we're going to do is heat up our olive oil until it bubbles just a little bit when we put in a piece of potato, and we're going to basically cook the potatoes and the onions together until they're soft. At that point, we're going to take them off of the heat, whip our eggs, and when they've cooled just a little bit, mix them into the egg mixture. The whole thing is going to go back to the pan with a couple tablespoons of that olive oil that we've reserved, and it's just going to cook until it's almost hard. We'll flip it on a plate, slide it back in to finish the cooking, and then we'll have our tortilla. We've worked with a lot of adult students from the healthcare industry, psychiatrists, medical doctors, nurses, a few anesthesiologists who wanted to take Spanish so that they could prepare their students for surgery in the way that would be the most comfortable for the patient, which meant speaking to them in Spanish. We've also worked with lots of different kinds of educators who have wanted to connect better with their students or the parents of their students. When we do corporate work, we often will help employees learn a language that will just help bridge these communication gaps. So if they're going to be traveling to another country, they can either speak in Chinese or they can work with their colleagues in another country in Spanish. And then of course there's PUBG, and on and off over the years, we've helped them with their Korean skills so that they could welcome their coworkers from Korea, but also be ready to travel and fit into the culture. That tortilla was so delicious. It was absolutamente riquísima. I highly recommend that you make one yourself. So, jobs on Indeed. I went to Indeed.com, I typed in Albany County, New York, and I put in bilingual Spanish. I came up with 228 different jobs. And a lot of those jobs were not necessarily career-based. I'm not going to talk about the translation, interpreting, and teaching because we know that foreign language is really important for those jobs. But here are some of the other jobs that came up. Call representative, legal services, auto claims for an insurance company, the FBI, working for the labor department for the state of New York, working as a public health specialist. Can you imagine the number of people who need health information in their first language? And how can they get it if we're not working on our own language skills? In addition to the bilingual Spanish filter that I put on my Indeed job search, I also did bilingual Korean, Russian, Chinese, German, and there are jobs in our region. two of the pharmaceutical companies had a line that simply said, bilingual in any of these languages is a plus. So there really are jobs out there. So what I always said to my kids is this: if you apply for a job, like let's just say at a grocery store, you apply for a job at a grocery store, somebody else applies for that same job, you have identical qualifications, but one of you speaks another language, who do you think will get that job? It's going to be the person that can communicate with more people, that can help bridge those cultural and linguistic gaps. And for that reason, I think you should stick with your language classes.